Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Secret Vibe Show. I'm always so excited to connect with you. I'm your host, Valerie A. Campbell. Step into my lounge, get comfortable and grab your favorite beverage. This is the Secret Vibe Show, the space where you explore your V for your vision, your I for your intention, your B for your beliefs, and E for expectation, all within the realms of relationships, dating, and spirituality. So yes, I am Valerie Eve Campbell, and today's episode is how a feminine woman presents her problem for a masculine man to solve. Now recently, there's been a lot of talk about women submitting to men. And more often than not, it stirs resistance. Right now, I can feel it causing some resistance in some women right now, that word, submission. But it's often misunderstood. But here's what I know to be true. When submission is done biblically, spiritually, and energetically, it works 100% of the time. The scripture tells us, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. That's in Ephesians 5:22. But here's the part we often skip. The husband is to submit to God. So what does this mean? Well, as women, we must choose wisely. As women, we are not commanded to submit to every man. We're not commanded to submit to every man. We are instructed to submit to our husband. Once we've discerned that he himself is submitted to God, and that is key. So what does that mean? Well, it means we choose wisely. As women, we are not commanded. We are instructed to submit to our husband. And that is key. And when that is true, we step into a sacred exchange. He leads, we trust. He covers, we rest. He solves, we express. This isn't about control. This is the dance of feminine and masculine energy. The man becomes a god with a little g, a reflection of the divine order. Just like a man brings his needs to God and trusts him to solve it, a woman brings her burdens to her man, not as demands, but as opportunities for him to step into leadership and provision. So let's explore how this actually looks in real life. So here's a few scenarios that I'm going to share with you. So there's a woman. She has a car situation. She needs a car. And let's say a woman needs that vehicle to get to work. Instead of coming to her man with, I need a new car. You need to help me figure this out. Can you co-sign? Can you lend me the money? She could approach it in this way. Babe, I've been feeling a little stuck lately. My commute to work has been so draining and I can feel it starting to affect how I show up during the day. I keep thinking about how different it would be if I had a car, but honestly, I'm not even sure where to begin. What do you think? See what just happened there? She's not barking orders. She's not demanding answers. She's presenting a problem in a way that invites his masculine energy to show up. Let's look at another scenario. The house feels unsafe. She might say, lately, I've been feeling a little uneasy at night. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's just the way the back door sticks, or how that window pane is broken, or how dark the side yard is. I don't feel entirely safe, and it's been on my mind. Do you think there's something we could do to make the house feel more secure? Again, she's not issuing a to-do list. She's telling him to install lights. She's not telling him to fix doors or call someone. She's expressing a felt need and trusting, and this is the key word, trusting him to step in with a solution. So you present the man with the problem and you trust him to come up with the solution. Men need to feel trusted. Scenario 3. She feels emotionally overwhelmed. Instead of saying, you never help me, I do everything around here, she could say, I've been feeling really overwhelmed lately. There's so much going on and I'm trying to stay strong, but it's starting to feel like so much, too much. I need to find a better way to manage it all. Can we talk about it together? This draws his heart in. A healthy, God-aligned man wants to step up. He wants to carry the load, but he has to be invited, not instructed to lead. Scenario 4. The unfixed door and toddler escape. She says, love, I know life's been hectic, but I've been really unsettled ever since the baby managed to get out again. I know it's just a loose lock, but it scares me to think what could happen. I feel much safer when I know our home is secure. What do you think is the best way to sort it? So this is her feminine expression. And there's that phrase again at the end. What do you think? I mean, his typical response might be, yeah, you're right. I'll take care of the lock this weekend. It's overdue. Why does he respond that way? Well, she didn't attack or assign blame. She shared her vulnerability and invited him to provide safety. One of the deepest masculine drives. Scenario 5. The school enrollment issue. She expresses in a feminine way, babe, I feel a bit overwhelmed. The school keeps asking for enrollment paperwork and I don't want to make the wrong choice. I trust your judgment. Can we sit and go over it together? I'd really love your input. He responds, sure, I'll help you sort through it. Let's knock it out tonight. Now, why does he respond that way? She didn't present it as a chore. She asked for his judgment. She asked for his wisdom, and that invites him to show up as wise and capable, which he craves. Scenario 6. Struggling with a heavy load. She expresses, I've been feeling like the laundry and housework are swallowing up all my time and energy. And I'd love to feel more supported so I can actually enjoy being home with you. What do you think might help us balance things better? He responds, maybe we should hire someone or get a laundry service. I want you to feel relaxed. See what happened there? Rather than criticizing or complaining, she made the problem rational. Now he sees it as something that affects both of them and offers a solution. Scenario 7. his long hours and her feeling neglected. She expresses from her feminine position, I really admire how hard you work, and I know you're doing it for us, but sometimes I miss just sitting with you, laughing together. I crave your presence. What do you think we can do to get that back? He responds, you're right. I'll block off some time this weekend just for us. And the reason he responds that way is because she has affirmed his effort but expressed a heartfelt need without accusation. And this allows him to reprioritize her without guilt. Only love. Are you getting the gist of these scenarios? The expression of femininity and the response of masculinity? Let's move on to another one. Scenario 7. I think it's number 7. Financial uncertainty. She says, I've been feeling a bit anxious about some upcoming bills, and I know you always find a way, and I trust you. Can we take a look at this together? I just feel better when we're aligned. He says, yeah, let's sit down and figure out the numbers. We'll make a plan. So why does he respond that way? Well, she's trusted him with her vulnerability. And that moves a masculine man to step in, take charge, and protect her peace of mind. I'm going to go into this particular one, a bit deeper, because sometimes I've experienced, and I know from coaching, that financial uncertainty is a big one. So we're going to move into that a little bit deeper later on. Here's another one. I noticed our son has been acting out lately, and it's been hard for me to manage. You have such a strong presence with him. Do you think that you could talk to him or show me how you'd handle it? He responds, yeah, I'll have a word with him. Maybe he just needs firmer boundaries. She acknowledged his authority in parenting. That makes him feel, again, a key word, respected and needed, not shamed or second-guessed. Another scenario. I hope you're enjoying these scenarios, by the way. You're planning for a family holiday. She says, I've been daydreaming about us taking a little family break together just to reconnect and reset. And I'd love to make memories with you somewhere relaxing. What do you think? Could we plan something? He responds, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's pick a date and figure it out. Now, why does he respond like that? Well, she's presented a vision, not a to-do list, not a to-do list on top of what he already has. It doesn't feel like pressure. And that then inspires his masculine instinct to create experiences for the one he loves. You see, a woman in her feminine energy, she doesn't nag, she doesn't demand, she doesn't pressurize. She expresses and feels and invites. In essence, she's saying, I trust you and I feel safe bringing this to you. I believe in your leadership. And a masculine man, he rises to that energy. He rises to that energy like a flame rises to air. And there's more. Emotional disconnection. Instead of saying, you're emotionally unavailable, we never talk anymore, she might say, I miss us. I miss feeling connected to you like we used to. I know life's been hectic, but maybe we could set aside some time just for us, even if it's just a walk or a cup of tea after the kids are down. And what if there's a lack of physical affection? Instead of saying, you never touch me anymore, Do you even find me attractive? Maybe you might try. Sometimes I find myself really craving your touch. Just little things like your hand on my back or a hug when I walk in the room. I miss that closeness. It makes me feel loved. Because let's face it, sometimes we can get so caught up in the grind that these little things we disconnect from doing because we're so caught up in our heads and not our feelings. Here's one. Instead of saying, you're always out with your friends, when do you ever think about me? She might say, I notice how much I light up when we're just spending time together. I don't always say it, but I really cherish those moments. I'd love to have more of that with you. Why that's great is because it's not accusatory. She hasn't used the you word. She's expressing how she feels and she's expressing her wants, what she needs in the relationship to feel loved. Messy house and a lack of help. You never help me around the house. I'm not your maid. Is that the feminine way? No, she might try. There are times I just feel like I'm drowning in dishes, laundry, everything. I know we both work hard and I'd love to find a rhythm that helps us both feel more balanced. Can we chat about it? Can we chat about it? What do you think? And what about if she feels that there's a lack of spiritual leadership? Instead of saying, you're supposed to be the spiritual head, why don't you pray with us? She might try, I really admire your relationship with God and it brings me so much peace when I see you lead. It would mean the world to me if we could just pray together more as a family. Would you be open to that? Or maybe you're not spending enough quality time together. Instead of, you never make time for me anymore, everything else comes first. She could say, I've been thinking about how much I love laughing and just being around you. I'd love to have a night that's just for us. Would you be up for planning something together? Can you see the difference? You know, each of these scenarios, it reflects the same energetic principle. Invite him in rather than shut him down. A masculine man doesn't just want to know what's wrong. He wants to be the hero who makes it right. But that only happens when we speak to his strength, not his shame. And you know, I said I'd come back to the finance, the feminine finance problem. Let's revisit that, because I know that that's a major one that some women experience. So I want you to imagine this scenario. There's a woman who's been struggling financially. She's the strong, independent type, the entrepreneurial woman. She's been self-sufficient for the most of her life, but she's had a bad turn. How might she approach her boyfriend for assistance? Let's try this feminine expression. Hey love, I've been sitting with something and it feels a little vulnerable to say out loud, but I want to be honest with you. Business has slowed down a bit lately and it's been affecting my ability to cover everything on my own the way I'm used to. And it's a strange feeling because I've always been the one to figure it all out solo. But I'm learning that Strength isn't always about doing it alone. It's also about knowing when to lean in. And I know you've built your own path, and I truly respect the way you move. If there's any way you could support me throughout this chapter, whether it's financially, with your wisdom, or even just helping me think through my next steps, I'd be so appreciative. I'd be so grateful. I'm not expecting anything, but it just felt right to open up to you rather than pretend I've got it all together. What do you think? Well, why does this work? Well, vulnerability without pressure. She opens with honesty, not blame or expectation. She respects or shows respect for his leadership. She recognizes his position as a businessman. Third, invitation versus demand. She's asking, not assuming. 4, she maintains her dignity. She honors her own strength while making room for support. And 5, she leaves space for his masculine energy to rise. This invites him to offer, not react. So how might he respond in a masculine way? From a grounded, caring man, this might be a typical response. Wow, thank you for sharing that with me, babe. I know that wasn't easy for you to say, and I really respect your honesty. I've seen how hard you work and how much you carry, so first, don't feel like you have to go through this part alone. Let's talk through what's needed and figure something out, whether that's me helping cover a few things for now or us putting our heads together to brainstorm how to get things back on track. I've got you. We're a team. I'd rather you come to me than struggle in silence. You're not alone. So why would a masculine man respond this way? Well, her vulnerability activates his protector provider nature. She didn't come with blame, force, or expectation, which allows him to freely step in. Her trust in him speaks to his masculine ego in a healthy way, and it makes him feel respected, needed, and honored, not used. She remained in her feminine grace whilst giving him space to lead. And so therefore this balance allows his natural desire to solve and support to emerge. You see, this dynamic reinforces divine order. She submits a need in trust and he rises to meet it in strength. It's not about money. It's about energy exchange, emotional safety, and spiritual alignment. So, those are the scenarios I thought I'd share with you today. There's been quite a few. I've been generous. But try it, ladies, try it. You know, my final thoughts are a woman in a feminine energy. As mentioned, she doesn't nag, demand, or pressure. She expresses and feels and invites. And she says, in essence, I trust you. I feel safe bringing this to you. I believe in your leadership. And a masculine man, he will rise to the energy, like I mentioned, like a flame rises to air. So the key principle here is share the weight. Don't dictate the outcome. Feminine energy is not weak. It's not passive. It's powerful, but in a completely different way than masculine energy. Feminine energy expresses without controlling. It reveals the need without demanding a solution. It inspires action through openness, not pressure. And when a woman communicates in this way, she says, I trust your wisdom. I believe in your strength. I feel safe with you leading. And that's the kind of communication that activates a man's divine design. He doesn't feel emasculated. He feels needed. And a man who is needed is a man who shows up. So why does this matter spiritually? Well, if your man is submitted to God and you are submitted to him, the entire household becomes a reflection of divine order. That's not oppression, that's protection. It means you don't have to carry it all. You don't have to know every answer. You get to be soft, expressive, intuitive, and magnetic. Because that's what feminine energy does. It magnetizes solutions. It attracts solutions. It doesn't chase them. So the feminine doesn't force the solution. She simply reveals the need. And in doing so, she allows the masculine to rise. I want to thank you so much for vibing with me today on the Secret Vibe Show. If this episode spoke to you, I invite you to lean into your divine femininity. Trust the order and allow yourself to be led from a place of spiritual strength, from a place of wisdom, from a place of softness.